You have such a diverse career spanning law, journalism, public speaking, and authorship. What inspired you to pursue so many different fields?
Well, there are certain themes that ran through my life. So, one theme is effective communication. So, in the case of effective communication, I think a major player in my life was my mother because she was deaf. And so I
Okay.
had to communicate effectively with her. And I realized how important good, effective communication is in leading a good life. So, for example, I had to be, she didn't hear, so she read my lips and the
Mm,
lips of others in order to understand what people are saying. And she wasn't stupid. She was fairly well educated and she read a lot, but it's just that she couldn't hear when people were talking. So I had to be concrete, specific. I had to be concise. I had to be simple, using words that are easy to understand, impactful. These were elements of effective communication that I just picked up from my childhood and in dealing with her. And I thank her. She's gone now, of course, but I'm very grateful to her for indirectly underlining for me how important communication is. And I learned this. It's a two track area.
uh-huh.
One is verbal, but the other is written communication. And I thought, for most of my life, I thought, okay, verbal. I'm interested in verbal. And if you look up above my head here, you'll see there's a plaque up there on the wall. It's from Toastmasters.
Mm,
And that's all about verbal communication. You go to an organization like that to learn how to give a speech and some leadership. So I went through Toastmasters. I was in Toastmasters for 35 years. I
oh,
attended
wow.
weekly club meetings for 35 years. And I rose to the top of the Toastmasters ladder. It's called Distinguished Toastmaster. And of the 330,000 Toastmasters worldwide, only about 1% reach Distinguished Toastmaster status. Now, some of them did it like in 6 months or a year,
Hmm.
35 years, but I made it.
But that's
And
okay. Yeah.
this is rarely an individual effort. It's usually a team effort. And I have to admit, without the other distinguished Toastmasters, I would have never made it up there. But anyway, I made it. But the world didn't want me to be a speaker. The world kept signaling to me, you got to write, you got to be a writer. And I'll show you how. When I got to university, I
Hmm.
took a course that's called English 101 at UBC in Vancouver, long time ago in the 70s. The professor there assigned us an assignment to read a sonnet by John Donne called Death and to write an essay about it. Now, this sonnet, it started like this. It said, Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty, for thou art not so. And goes on to say
That
you're
sounds
not
so
so proud.
poetic, so beautiful.
So I wrote an essay about it. And when I got it back, the essay was full of red marks and an F.
Oh,
He didn't
God.
like it. So I went to see him. I said, what's wrong? He said, well, this essay's terrible. You got to write better. You have to learn how to write. So I spent the whole year trying to learn how to write by writing this essay about death, the sonnet. And I wrote it 5 times. And I even employed help from master's degrees candidates in English to
Hmm.
get it right. But I just, it wasn't working. And at the end of the year, he passed me by taking pity on me, probably gave me 50% just to pass because he knew without passing I wouldn't be able to continue in my schooling, my
Right.
university. Well, today, if he learned that I write for Forbes. I've been writing for Forbes for 10 years. I've published 4 books. I'm a former correspondent.
Hmm.
Roll over in his grave if he heard that I'm, doing what I'm doing in terms of writing. And indeed, the world didn't want me, as you can hear at the beginning. It said,
Yeah.
oh, no, you're no good.
Yeah.
But slowly, I wrote an article here, an article there. I published them in student magazines and newspapers. And, I studied how to write. And, there's a saying, if you want to be a good speaker, speak. If you want to be
Hmm.
a singer, sing. If you want to be a dancer, dance. If you want to be a writer, write. Well, I wrote. But the secret ingredient was you have to learn how to write while you're writing. You have to learn how to speak while you're speaking, etc. You have to study it. So I studied it.